Good morning, everyone. It is April the 17th. We have very few days left until Easter, as my children keep reminding me, and all of the fun things. So hopefully you have your peeps and or absolute Easter candy on lock. Got your Reese's hidden, so you don't have to share them with your family members. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing your mod duty. Jason JJ and Jeffrey Montgomery, good morning. Tammy Bogard and Alice G and Carol Sue Scott, good morning. So, we do have a final report about how Michelle Trachtenberg has passed away. So, there has been a lot of speculations. This does look like, they have cleared this up. So let's get into this. Michelle Trachtenberg, according to an autopsy that has been released from the New York City Medical Examiner's Office, has or did pass away due to complications from diabetes. So I know that there was a lot of allegations of her maybe having some, addiction struggles and looking very gaunt and frail towards the end of her life. So if she did struggle with diabetes, then that is not surprising considering how, even if you have type 1 diabetes, from a child, it's still incredibly difficult on your body when, you have to calibrate all those things. So, the former child star 39, who appeared on a variety of TV shows, including Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Gossip Girl, was found by her mother on February 26th in her Central Park South apartment. She had undergone a liver transplant within the last year, which sources at the time had speculated might have been a contributor to her death. Now, some fans had also expressed concerns about her health in the months before she died, after post showed her looking very thin, very sickly. Again, if she had had a liver transplant, that's incredibly rough on your body. So I can see how it could look like other things, though. However, following a review of laboratory tests, the medical examiner amended the cause of death to include complications of diabetes. Now, Trachtenberg's sudden death caused fans and former co-stars, including Rosie O'Donnell, David Boreanaz, and Melissa Gilbert, to flock to social media with an outpouring of support for the young actress who had passed away. She got her first acting credit at the age of 9 in the classic 1999 Nickelodeon series, The Adventures of Pete and Pete. I loved that show. Bring back The Adventures of Pete and Pete. They're just two middle-aged, bitter men. And my mini me, uh, afternoon Mo et al. Sorry about my absence. I am sorry that you've been having a rough time of it. There are just so many things going around here lately. It and thank you for the £5. See, I am learning a euro and a pound. I'm going to be so continental next year. Thank you so much. And for my UK listeners, I hope if you are living in Birmingham, you have access to Purell. I don't know why I'm addicted to UK news, but I do hope that Birmingham comes to some sort of agreement about how to pick up trash because, and I'm not saying this with derision or anything, it looks dead awful. So I can't imagine living there, and hopefully, everyone can come together and come up with a solution because it has to not be so great. So I am glad that we have learned maybe some information. It does seem a little odd to me that we always have to speculate about, celebrity deaths. I mean, Gene Hackman and his wife are still in the news, so, you know, be careful around mice. Hantavirus is real and not something I just used to make fun of at my school. Welcome, photo lady. And Audio Coffee says, I'm about 90 miles away from Birmingham and 5 miles from Manchester. I like it that way. Well, considering I'm fairly sure it's like when Baker tries to imagine where in America a certain town is. I have no idea. But I do like to watch just a crud ton of your talk news for some reason, which I don't even think most people in the UK like to watch. Well, you guys, I know that things are tight, things are tough, but maybe keeping, your Easter eggs from years and years ago is cutting it a little bit to the bone. A woman finds an unexpected surprise inside her grandmother's 30-year-old Easter eggs. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Those are vintage, fossilized, hard-boiled eggs that Granny never threw out. Catalina Gullo's mom was in the process of helping her grandmother, Sunny Benz, move from San Diego to Hawaii when she called Gullo and asked if she could fly to help go through some boxes. Now, Gullo, age 24, who currently lives in Connecticut with her husband, of course, jumped at the opportunity to fly back home to California to help her grandmother move. Sounding like a good story so far. Once she arrived at her mom's house in early March, she and her mom began going through all of her grandmother's things, from documents to boxes of family heirlooms, and deciding what to ship to Hawaii and what to get rid of. That's when Gulo noticed that her mom had already pulled out all of the Easter decorations. And I was like, "Oh, you decorated kind of early," Gula recalled telling her mom, and she figured, "Well, I got a whole bunch of Easter decor from grandma, so I figured why pack it away and, just to bring it back out in a few weeks." And I was that and of course the daughter said, "That makes sense." But as Gula looked at the direct decorations on the table, she immediately noticed that there were Easter eggs on display. And she said, "Mom, why did you dye Easter eggs so early? We're a month and a half out from Easter." And she said, "No, these are artificial eggs from your grandma's closet." But upon closer inspection, the daughter just couldn't shake how realistic the eggs looked. And when she picked them up, she noticed how they resembled real eggshells. However, she didn't think too much about her speculation at the time. I mean, Hobby Lobby always has new stuff. So there you go. But then later in the week, the mother and daughter continued to go through more of, their grandmother's belongings with countless photo albums that she had kept over the years. And that's when Gulo, the daughter, came across a photo of her mother and father who met as teenagers dyeing Easter eggs as kids. We were like, "Oh my goodness, they're so young and they're in grandma's old kitchens. How sweet." The next photo is of eggs in the bowl, and that was the same bowl that my mom had from grandma, sitting at her table, staged the exact same way, with the Easter grass and eggs sitting in it. Gulo said, I was like, "Oh my goodness, those totally look like the eggs sitting on the table." And she said, "No, those can't be the real eggs." So she went over to check the eggs yet again, shaking each one. Now, most of them were quiet, but they felt heavier in her hand than they should have been for, decorations. Well, she decided, and this was a mistake, y'all. She decided to shake one and open it, realizing that there was something rattling around inside. And when she did open it, something came out that, looked like a marble. And she realized upon investigation that it was an egg yolk. Yes, a petrified egg yolk. Mom and dad's, first day Easter Easter eggs had been sitting in grandma's closet for 30 years. These are probably stink bombs of an epic proportion. The family proceeded to crack open another egg and discovered that the yolk wasn't intact, but it was broken inside and had the texture of like a peanut butter candy. So, any of you that like Reese's, I guess, well, you're out. The next one they cracked open was somehow pressurized and made a loud kind of exploding popping noise. And, well, stunk up the house so bad they had to leave the room. We all screamed and it smelled so horrible. My dad said, "Throw it away. It smells so bad. Get out of the house. Light a match." Everyone was cracking up and even grandma was laughing. So, well, we've seen the eggs, but, grandma just wanted to keep a nice memory. There is grandma moving to Hawaii. Everyone was cracking up, and even grandma was laughing too. They were all teasing her, saying, "Oh my goodness, we can't believe you kept these." They continued to crack each egg for some ridiculous reason, looking like, brown, black, and, disgusting mold. And grandma laughed uproariously the whole time, saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe I kept these eggs long enough for that to happen." Now, not long after Gulio posted a video of the situation to TikTok, she noticed it started to get traction. Since then, the video has amassed more than 7.5 million views and 2,500 comments. The journey these eggs have been on, one comment read, "Listen, in this economy, we don't throw out eggs even if they're calcified," another person said in a comment. Another user wrote, "35 years, I thought it was going to be confetti eggs." There were so many comments like, "Those were family heirlooms. You're destroying memories. How could you do that?" Okay, people are weird, but this is a cute granny story. I'm probably gonna save everything from my grandchildren. That being said, probably not their hard-boiled eggs, but, there you go. Well, Mr. Beast just can't catch a break. I mean, what with, not being able to con young children into gambling, with their parents' money, allegedly in Minecraft. I mean, setting up gaming apps that have microtransactions that parents, generally don't always know about, however you want to call it. Mr. Beast fans traveled to Mr. Beast, the Las Vegas experience, only to find no Mr. Beast. Well, I thought that would be the best part of the whole trip. I've had to watch those videos with my sons. Again, best part of the whole trip would be that he wasn't effing there. I still have my youngest son who wants Mr. Beast candy for Easter because I want to pay more money to this jackass. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas unless you complain about it on social media. And that is exactly what a disappointed group of Mr. Beast fans did when they realized a Sin City event advertised under his brand wasn't going to happen, and they were each out $1,000. Avid followers of the world's most subscribed YouTube star, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, forked over a sum for a 3-night Mr. Beast experience. What is a Mr. Beast experience? Where you just get talked loudly to by jackasses? Because honestly, I can go to a Walmart to do that and save myself $11,000 and get, peeps. So this was holy crap, how much did they Alright, so Mr. Beast experience at the Las Vegas Casino, Resort World, expecting special games and a chance to win up to $10,000 from the creator. Known for his elaborate, challenges and giving away huge sums of money. But instead, as Sunday turned into Monday, and then Tuesday, they mostly just sat in their hotel rooms waiting for something to happen. Now, participants reported that they had only received some of Mr. Beast's Feastable chocolate bars and t shirts that were either extra small or extra large, and tempers flared among certain guests, seen demanding answers from the Resort World employees. One woman who said she had come with her daughter even questioned whether Donaldson had signed off on the experience. "I'm now starting to think this was all fake," she told Resorts World CEO Alex Dixon on the casino floor, surrounded by fellow ticket holders. "Can you give me one little tiny signature saying he approved this?" The CEO was unable to provide such a document right on the spot. "That's some bull," one woman said. Now, attendees also began to realize that they were paying well above market rate for the hotel rooms they were staying in. Had their stay been booked through the usual channels, it would have been closer to $400. Dixon, who stepped into his executive role in January, did try to offer food and beverage vouchers and said that the hotel would waive fees for those who chose to check out early. Now, amid the confusion, Resort Worlds took down the webpage advertising that they had teamed up with Mr. Beast for an exclusive hotel package, and the URL now returns an error message. The original description promised a quote, exclusive Mr. Beast mystery bag, which would be stocked with selected Mr. Beast branded merchandise, and that one lucky guest would win a $10,000 voucher to redeem for cash at Resort World. Throughout the week, the property will host a variety of on site activations designed to deliver an immersive and unforgettable experience for our guests. Now, participants said they were eventually informed that these environmental Easter eggs were not set up, nor could they enjoy the exclusive menu items or themed beverages alluded to in a press release announcing the event. As of Tuesdays, attendees were reported that they had received full refunds. Yeah, there you go. So, definitely looks like this could be a bad thing for him. Scanning through the article, this doesn't look like he was teamed up with them to do this. So the hotel might be in some hot water if they were trying to attach his name to their stuff. But who is paying all this money to go see this man? I I need some explanation at the front of the congregation. I really do. And who's a good dog? We needed a good dog story. And look at this. Look, he's a chonk, but he's a good boy. A missing toddler who walked 7 miles alone through the Arizona wilderness was led to safety by a rancher's dog. He's such a good boy. He's like, I would just like a steak and a hot dog, please. A 2-year-old boy who spent the night alone in a remote Arizona wilderness and walked 7 miles through mountain lion territory was led to safety by a rancher's dog, authorities said Tuesday. A huge search operation was launched when the boy disappeared from his home in Slegaman, Arizona, about 100 miles south of Grand Canyon National Park at around 5 p.m. Monday. He was just wearing a blue tank top and pajama pants, the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office said. Now, the sheriff's office said that more than 40 searchers, including the Department of Public Safety Rangers, had joined the search, and DPS helicopters had spotted two mountain lions in the area. But 16 hours after he went missing, rancher Scotty Dutton. Oh, wait, Yellowstone is Sutton, right? I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. He's the bestest boy. Had found him on his land 7 miles away. The boy was safe and well and had apparently been led to his property by the rancher's dog, Buford. Oh, that's a good Buford. You come over here. Mama Mo's going to get you a big old steak. He looks like one of those dogs that definitely thinks he's a lap dog. Like, I is a toy poodle. Let me sit on your lap. I got in my truck to go into town, and I see Buford walking down the side of the fence with this little blonde kid with him, Dutton told NBC affiliate KPX or KPNX of Phoenix. I had heard a talk about, a missing child this morning, so I knew it was him. Dutton asked the boy if he had walked all night, and he answered, no, I laid up under a tree. The beef farmer said the boy was in good shape, but upset. The rancher traced the boy's steps and found that the dog had escorted him for at least a mile. He said that Buford, an Anatolian Pyrenees, normally patrols the lands and wards off coyotes. He went through some rough country. It's all mountains and canyons and boulder piles. It's rough even for adults, let alone someone who's 2 years old, Dutton said. He did a remarkable job to go 7 miles like he did. Dutton added that lions, coyotes, and the occasional bear can still be found in the area. Now, Dutton said of Buford, he loves kids. I imagine he wouldn't leave him once he found him. So, the goodest boy. I just want to give him a big old hug. He looks so fluffy too. And well, I know Pyrenees are huge, and he is a working dog. So I am glad that, he was socialized enough because some cattle dogs, some working dogs might not have been so friendly to a little boy. So I'm glad he was socialized. And Buford, you better get all the steak. I better get updates that we have steak dinners for Buford every night. Now it is time to present Lord Chippy his latest 3 guests because, well, Lord Chippy can never take a day off. It just it just can't happen. Well, all's well that ends well, I guess if you're dating Grant Amato. Ma'am, how in the hell do you find someone's info, like, you know, ID investigation network, thing about Grant Amato and go, "Hmm." Like, how do you pull a Bev seeing, like, Canon Bro, like, "Ooh, Grant Amato, you offed your family and spent 200K on a Bulgarian cam model? Be still my heart." Am I, like, a bad person? Soon to be ex-wife of Ghost Adventure star pleads guilty to a murder for hire plot. Yes, ma'am, you're the baddie. I'm glad I cleared that up for you. A month after getting caught trying to hire someone to unalive her husband, Victoria Goodwin is pleading guilty to one of the charges against her. Now, according to court documents obtained by TMZ, Victoria Goodwin, 32, has reached a plea agreement with Clark County prosecutors after being accused of attempting to solicit someone to have her husband, Ghost Adventurer star Aaron Goodwin, 48 killed. You'd think some of them ghosts would be like, "Hey, bro, like, I wanna tell you about my life stuff, but your wife is super sus." Like, "Bro," it's the Marleys. Like, "Look, dude, she's a gold digger." Now sorry. Let's see. So she has pled guilty to that. Victorian Goodwin will plead guilty to a conspiracy to commit murder, charge while prosecutors agree to drop the solicitation to commit murder charge. Well, there you go. TMZ reported that the plea agreement could shorten the sentence that she could have faced and if she had taken her chances at trial and been found guilty. Now, as previously reported by Law and Crime, Victoria Goodwin was communicating with Grant Amato, 35, who is serving a life sentence in Florida after unaliving both his parents and brother. Now, in their conversation, Victoria Goodwin reportedly gave Amato information about where Aaron Goodwin was shooting Ghost Adventures. Amato then reportedly has his own exchanges with a would-be hitman and, relayed information back to Victoria. Victoria, according to the court documents, once asked Amato, like, "Am I a bad person because I choose to end his existence and not get a divorce?" Yes. This is not a multiple choice. Yes, if you try to solicit to unalive your wife or your husband instead of just getting a divorce, yes, you're the baddie. I'm sorry that you didn't pass, the emotional intelligence it requires to pass kindergarten, but I fixed that one for you. Now, one exchange between Amato and this guy on the outside seemed to prove just how close Aaron Goodwin came to being in danger. Now, Amato apparently wrote to the unnamed party, quote, "He's asleep right now in the hotel room. I need to know what's going on. Can I get an update? Was it done?" Amato's phone was eventually confiscated by corrections officers and searched, which promptly revealed the conversations he was having with Victoria Goodwin and the hitman that she now admitted to wanting to hire. Now, police said Victoria Goodwin had allegedly saved up a total of $11,515 to pay for the murder and exchanged several messages about a $2,500 down payment. Soon after Victoria Goodwin was arrested, Aaron filed for divorce. He told TMZ at the time he was blindsided and devastated. Now, Victoria now faces charges between 2 to 10 years in prison and a possible $5,000 fine. A judge will determine her sentence at a later date. Yeah, I mean, that's less than people charge you for a used car anymore. Good lord. Well, I mean, petty is gonna petty because she's an a-hole. A man tracks down a woman from a car accident more than a year later, spray paints her home, pours sugar down the gas tank, cop says. Well, I mean, I never want to hear it be said that women hold grudges. Never again. I never want to hear it say, you know, because women are just too hysterical and don't let go of nothing. Because this man held this for a year. Michael Dietz was not shied about his alleged actions when Ohio cops asked him about the vandalism at a home of a woman with whom he was involved in a car crash over a year ago. Quote, I effing spray painted a hole on her house, Dietz told Westlake cops, according to body cam video published by Law and Crime. Why? Asked the cops. Because she's an a-hole, he retorted. While in the patrol car on the way to jail, Dietz went on to, further self-incriminate. That bee is lucky I didn't go over with a force multiplier and start unloading freedom seeds. Sir, as your non, legal, lawful law representative of third-party intervenership, maybe, telling people you are contemplating, first-degree premeditated murder in a car is bad when you're with police officers and the recording, but hey, I'm not your defense attorney, so good luck with that one. Now, Dietz, 64, is facing charges of vandalism and aggravated menacing. Officers in Westlake, a suburb of Cleveland, responded to the victim's home on Thursday after she saw the damage to her home and vehicle. Now, ring camera footage showed the man arriving shortly before 5 a.m., trying to pour sugar down the SUV's down her gas tank in her driveway. He also proceeded to spray paint the word a-hole several times, although it was somewhat mispronounced. How can you mispronounce a-hole? Like, I can understand, like cahoot because I haven't really established how I'm going to actually spell it. But a-hole, I blame the Department of Education. Not even the University of Alabama flag in the yard was spared. When asked who may want to vandalize the property, the woman and her husband suggested Dietz. She and the suspect had been involved in a car accident in August 2023. After Dietz allegedly admitted to being the perpetrator, he told the police that he was not happy with how the crash was handled and he intended to sue the victim, as he was still suffering from back pain. Officers noticed a black backpack, a backpack of premeditation, if you will, that the suspect had used at the scene as they were interviewing him. Now, upon inspection, the bag contained clear plastic gloves, a reusable Giant Eagle grocery bag, sugar residue, a blue funnel, and, other things that were consistent with tools and evidence that were left at the scene. Now, police did arrest Dietz without further incident, though it is unclear if he has a lawyer or when he is next scheduled to appear in court. This case will be sent to a grand jury where he may face additional charges. Westlake's cops were incredulous that a man of Dietz's age would allegedly commit such an act. You would expect maybe a kid or a young adult to do something like this, not thinking things through all the way, but this was a 64-year-old man who should have definitely known better. Captain Jerry Vogel told CBS affiliate WOIO. So there you go. Yeah, true, true. Well, I mean, sometimes, but at least we don't have to watch adolescents in our school, mini me. Must miss television. Well, I don't know who has to hear this, but don't fake cancer or shoot yourself in the stomach to find love. It's not generally it's not a romantical gesture that most women find really attractive. But this, well, Sad Romeo decided that sympathy was better than love. A FedEx worker faked cancer and shot himself to gather sympathy from a coworker who had rejected his advances. If you can't have her love, have her sympathy. A Florida man was recently arrested after intentionally shooting himself in order to make himself seem more attractive to a coworker who had spurned his advances. I don't know how this maths, but okay. Sweetheart, what are you trying to do here? Alexander Lafort, 30, now stands accused of one count each of giving false information to law enforcement during an investigation, tampering with evidence in a felony proceeding, and discharging a firearm in public, according to Brevard County Sheriff's Office reports. Now, the shooting incident occurred during the early morning hours on March 21st, 2024, according to a probable cause affidavit filed by the Cocoa Police Department. Officers had responded to shots fired at a FedEx in Cocoa, a small town located on Florida's Atlantic coast. Now, at the scene, an officer had found the defendant, quote, lying on a couch with a gunshot wound to his abdomen. His abdomen? True, true. There were some very, very hideous kid stories today, and honest to goodness, I needed some dumbass stories in crime, but we have one from Florida that will get Lord Chippy. But I needed to do some of the more stupid Lord Chippy attendants than the heinous ones today. Okay. In various interviews with police officers, Lafort allegedly claimed that he was shot by a man wearing a mask and a hoodie, and then he ran away. But eventually, these, carefully created stories didn't add up, police say. When a detective later spoke with a witness who worked with the defendant at FedEx, she said that Lafort told her the assailant demanded money before the shooting. Lafort, however, did not relay this claim to the responding officers, according to the affidavit. Instead, the defendant told the initial police on the scene that he was cleaning up spilled soda in his car when a man more or less appeared out of nowhere, then suddenly surprised him, shot him, before running down the road for no apparent reason. As you do. Surveillance footage obtained by law enforcement appeared to show the defendant showing up at the parking lot over 2 hours before his shift began on the day in question, the police allege. The video also does not show a second person in any of the recording. The defendant's parking job also aroused suspicion. It should be noted that Mr. Lafort's vehicle had been parked in the furthest position of the northwest parking lot, which put the vehicle almost out of the view of the surveillance cameras, the affidavit read. In addition, the parking lot appeared to be only half at capacity, but his vehicle was the furthest from the building's main entrance. A different FedEx employee later told the detective that Lafort was using an off parking spot was odd but not unheard of, according to the police. Specifically, Lafort had parked there one other time the day before the shooting, the affidavit alleges. Now, the second witness surmised that the parking spot was utilized to watch a female coworker. And creep too, sir. You are just the hat trick of undateable, sir. As it turned out, Lafort was arrested and charged with stalking in a completely different case involving that particular female coworker, almost exactly 1 month after the shooting. When the detectives first brought up the stalking allegation with the defendant, he allegedly, lied, according to the affidavit. The charging document describes that case at length, though. While questioning Alexander Lafort regarding a stalking incident that had occurred at FedEx, he was determined to be deceitful many times. One of these times included when I asked him if he had placed a note or anything on the vehicle of that coworker. Now, after Alexander Lafort said no, I then told Mr. Lafort that I had viewed surveillance photo, and footage that contradicted his answers. He then said, "Oh, okay, yeah." I also asked if he had contacted the coworker since he'd been involved in the shooting, which he also stated no. I later found out that he had, indeed contacted the coworker on March 23rd, 2024, in which he stated sorry. This was after the victim had told Alexander to stop contacting her. I also asked Alexander if he had ever been diagnosed with cancer. He stated no, which contradicts statements that he had made to the victim via text messages. Now, police say that Lafort was inconsistent and gave conflicting details about the shooting, according to the affidavit. In one version of events, the alleged balaclava clad man closed one of his car doors after the shooting, and in another, the defendant himself admitted to closing both doors of his car. Now, investigators also dinged his honesty over the monetary claims, allegedly telling police that there was no money involved, while allegedly telling one of his fellow employees that the would be shooter did ask him for money. Yet, in another story of telling and retellings, the defendant allegedly told the detective in charge of the investigation that he eventually moved toward the shooter and hit the top of the gun, possibly causing it to go off. Meanwhile, this purported detail was left entirely out of any accounts given to officers at the scene. So, ladies, I'm guessing he's still single. I'm reckon you could catch him like a case of the clap. Sir, you are about as useful as tits on a bull. Fix your life. I mean, I don't know what to tell you other than fix your life. Well, and then we have this final lordshipy recipient because what the actual hell is going on here? You want final form Jesus. This is how final form Jesus happens. Also, I mean, that is just not a great shot. True, his dating status might be a little different now. There will be. Well, I mean, are we shocked that it's Florida woman? I mean, honest to goodness, are we shocked? No, we are not. The owners of a Florida curio shop have been arrested for selling human remains on Facebook Marketplace, according to Orange County City Police Department. Kimberly Schoper, 52, and Ashley Lessie were arrested and charged with the purchase or sale of human organs and tissues, according to court records. This is something I haven't seen in 17 years that I've worked for this agency. Orange City Police Department Captain Sheriff El-Shami told ABC News. Orange City is located about half an hour north of Orlando. Now, police began looking into Chopper's store, Wicked Wonderment, back in December 2023 when they received a tip regarding the business within the city that was attempting to sell human bones. Oh my God, it's like Bob's Burgers. Good morning, Kathy Stewart. I have no idea. The tip included images from the store's Facebook page, which advertised, quote, various human bones for sale, complete with pricing information, the affidavit said. Now, Chopper's store was allegedly selling two human skull fragments for $90, a human clavicle and scapula for $90, a human rib, well, on sale for $35, a vertebrae for $35, and a partial human skull for $600. Okay. Now, the police spoke to Leslie, the co owner of Wicked Wonderland, who said the store had been selling human bones for several years and was unaware that it was prohibited in the state of Florida. I mean, if you were going to sell human bones, wouldn't you do like just a quick little Googleification and see if it's not like illegal or going to get you sent to hell? They've been picking up fragments. They've been selling them. That's She confirmed to authorities that the store featured multiple bone fragments, all purchased from private sellers. Leslie said that she had documentation for these transactions, but could not provide that at that moment. Welcome, Jen. Now, Chopper and Leslie later met with the police, where Chopper showed documentation from PayPal, but she had redacted certain information to protect their privacy. Chopper told the police that the bones were indeed educational models, and the warrant would be required if further information was needed. Interesting. Now, police did submit 5 pieces of human bodies from Wicked Wonderland as evident, with the Velosta County Medical Examiner's Office finding that the fragments likely represent at least 2 different individuals, one of one possible archaeological origin and one from an anatomical origin. So different origins, both, I mean, again, they're all different pieces of the body, so that makes sense. So different bodies and different places they may have got this body from. Now, Chopra was taken into custody on Thursday and released on a bail of $7,500 on Friday. According to court records, it is not immediately clear if she has obtained a lawyer. Welcome, Shizzy Raiders. Now, Leslie has also been charged with the same crime, El Shemi told ABC News. It's not clear whether she also has a lawyer. In a post on the store's Facebook page, the pair wrote of the store closing on Saturday. Wicked Wonderland is currently temporarily closed due to dedicating our time to the care of a beloved family member in their final moments. So that you can sell his pieces and parts at your store? Like, it might be somewhat optically a little bit absurd if you were, found selling human body parts. That's why your store is getting, and then, you say, "Our family member's passing." I mean, people are going to jump to the logical conclusion that you are simply there for the dibs on best parts. Or at least that's what I'm going to conclude, that you're there simply for dibs on the best parts of the, corpse to go ahead and sell to people in your little weirdo shop. And look, I get it. People like curios, they like curiosities, they like sideshows. I get it. But if you're gonna sell human bones, maybe make sure it's legal in the state you're in. Let's see. Absolutely nothing more. While there may be a whirlwind of misguided misinformation out there and horrendous assumptions and opinions, we are choosing to focus on what we always have: life, love, death, and family. Now, Chopper's arraignment has been scheduled for May the 1st, according to court records. So there you go. I mean, if you want to go to Florida, don't go to Florida and croak. This woman might, get you. Well, it wasn't serves, it was stank. And this is the kind of sports story I can get on. Deodorant controversy engulfs tennis match as Harriet Dart mocks Louis Besson for smelling really, really bad. Yes. Remember those commercials? You're sure and you're unsure. Let's all try to be sure, okay? Let's make it a basic act of human kindness to wear deodorant. You're welcome. This tennis controversy stinks. At the Rouen Open in France, reeks of hygiene controversy after a British tennis player, Harriet Dart, asked the chair umpire to tell her first round opponent, France's Lois Besson, to wear deodorant Tuesday. I'm going in on woman who doesn't want to be stankified side. Look, I'm on the English side with this. Holy fazolies. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Can you tell her to wear deodorant? Dart asked the umpire after rising from a chair during a changeover in a hot mic moment that has since gone viral. She smells quite awful. I mean, how are you going to get told you stink across the court and not figuratively, but quite literally? I guess, is this proving French stereotypes to an American mind true? Now, Besson seemingly did not hear the comment or pay attention to it. She did ultimately defeat Dart in 6-0 to 6-3. Okay. I guess those are good score. Do you score by threes? I don't know how you play tennis. The 21-year-old Besson then had some fun with her opponent's remarks. At Dove, apparently we need a collaboration, Besson wrote on Tuesday alongside a praying hands emoji and two laughing emojis on her Instagram story, featuring a photo of herself holding a tennis ball that had been photoshopped to hold a Dove deodorant stick above the ball. I mean, honestly, if you take it like that and you just say, hey, maybe I'm stinky, maybe I can, grift. Uh, Another reason not to go to Paris. Now, Dart, a 28-year-old Brit, ranked the number 110th player in the world, ultimately apologized for her actions. Quote, "Hey everyone, I just want to apologize for what I said on court today. It was a heat of the moment kind of comment, and I truly regret it." Well, I mean, you're not downwind of her anymore, so I'm sure that your nose hairs have started to regrow back, so it'll be okay. Oh, well, I mean, I guess if you call someone stank, they're gonna be all mad and hot and bothered. And that's how I wanna carry myself. I wanna take full responsibility. I have a lot of respect for Lois and how she competed today. And Timu, Dwayne Rapp, thank you for 10 memberships, and those went to Therese Elliott, Diane G, Clerk Jim Clown's List, Dollhouse, Amy Sishko, Lori Walls, Shannon VS, Tiff Knox, Teresa Dirksmeyer, and Suzette Lewis. And I will write those out here in a little bit. I do want to get through some. Thank you so much for all of those memberships. I am trying to do mornings with or musings with Mo much more, or doing musings throughout the day. That is my goal. Give me a second, but I am feeling a little bit better, and the sun is supposed to be out today. So, we might be turning a corner and getting into, actual springness. All right. As Basan awaits eventual word from Dove about a possible collaboration, she's also awaiting to see who her second round opponent will be on Thursday. Now, the victor of Wednesday's clash between Mayoko Umcheka and Nuria Branicicco will advance to round two. Now, Bosson's triumph over Dart marks her first action of 2025 due to injury. She is currently the number 303rd player in the world. So, I mean, good sportsmanship that, Miss Dart, apologized and all that other stuff. So, I mean, maybe just wear deodorant when you go out, but also if you kind of are having a suck day on your tennis game, don't throw no fighting words out there, okay? Because nothing will motivate a woman like pure daggone spite. I mean, she probably served them balls with just extra bitch fire in it. Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna say that because that's kind of a stereotype, but I was like, well, but well, in actual you know what? I'm bringing back Lord Chippy because this dude actually needs Lord Chippy. I forgot I had put this story in here. So this sir, he needs extra special attention. All right, Lord Chippy attendance, we have a slow, low grind. I mean, y'all do you, but this is definitely someone that needs to be, seen. A grandmother, 82, has been found buried in concrete under a shed with her convicted child toucher handyman eyed as the suspect who did it. I mean, tell me you're not allowed near schools without telling me you're not allowed near schools. A missing 82-year-old Washington grandmother was found encased in concrete and buried under a shed in Washington state, with her offender handyman eyed as the main suspect, according to police officers. Marcia Norman's hastily built tomb, and we're going to keep it on this wonderful lady for now, was found April 10th, 9 days after the grandmother had had dinner with the handyman and convicted toucher Jeffrey Ziz, according to a release from the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. We spoke to Ziz a couple of times over the days, just trying to understand the interactions with her, the relationship, how often he's known her, what he was doing at the house, that kind of thing. Lieutenant Mike Brooks of the Thurston County Sheriff's Office said, according to Fox 13 Seattle. The Tenino, Washington woman was reported missing by her family on April 4th after they had not heard from her since April 1st, with police officers calling the disappearance suspicious and noting that the dinner dishes had been left half finished in the kitchen sink and both of her vehicles were still in the driveway, according to the sheriff's office. Now, during the course of their investigation, police officers found that Ziz had built a ramshackle shed on April 2nd on an unrelated property in Olympia, Washington, under which, unfortunately, the remains of Norman were found after officials conducted a grisly excavation. Now, investigators closed in. Ziz lammed it to Missoula, Montana, where he was picked up by police officers at a motel and arrested on a sentencing violation for an unrelated child touching charge and extradited back to Washington on April 13th, a release stated. Now, Ziz, 47, has not been charged but remains the primary person of interest in Norman's death, with police executing search warrants and seizing his pickup truck, the Thurston County Sheriff's Office stated. Now, he is currently being held on no bail at the Thurston County Jail for his child touching sentencing violation as cops conduct their own investigation into the death of Norman. Could we just put him in prison and lock the key? I mean, could we just be done with it by now? I am done with these people being just gross. And in how not to deal with your ex-in-laws, this chick, an update on this chick. Remember this chick? I was making beef Wellington. How was I to know those were poisonous, deadly nightshade mushrooms? From Australia, where not only the snakes will kill you, but apparently your bitter ex-wife will also do it. It was supposed to just have been a quiet family lunch, but instead, 3 guests ended up dead, and now a woman is standing accused of murder. On July 29th, 2023, Erin Patterson invited her ex-husband's parents, Don and Gail Patterson, both in their 70s, over for a lunch in her home in Leonath Leongtha? Look, how do you say this? Leongatha. Look, somewhere in Australia. Also at the table were Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson, 66, and Heather's husband, Ian Wilkinson, 68, according to NBC News. Now, during the lunch, the family had beef Wellington, but the dish would soon make headlines around the world when it was discovered to have been laced with poisonous mushrooms, authorities alleged per news.com AU. Now, Don, Gail, and Heather were hospitalized and unfortunately passed within days, while Ian would later recover weeks later. Now, Erin, 50 years old, is facing multiple murder charges, and the allegations do not stop there. Police say she also tried to kill her ex-husband, Simon Patterson, who had been invited to that faithful lunch but did not attend. Now, according to the Associated Press, authorities allege she attempted to poison Simon on 3 separate occasions from 2021 to 2022. Now, according to a statement previously shared by Victoria Police, Erin has been charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. At the time, following the third death, Aaron had denied any wrongdoing, saying, per the Associated Press, quote, "I'm devastated. I love them, and I can't believe this has happened. I'm so sorry." Now, police previously said that they believed the victims ate Amanita, uh, or otherwise known as death cap mushrooms, which are one of the most lethal mushrooms for humans, per CBS News. Now, authorities did note at a press conference in 2023 that two children were also at the lunch but had not become ill, per Nine News Australia. Now, it was believed that the children were not fan of beef Wellingtons and probably had some chicken, nugs, so they were fine, which is good because honestly, heifer, if you had touched the children, like, throw away the key, send you to the outback, I'm done. Like, you can go play with saltwater crocodiles, all right? Now, on April 15th, Aaron was seen for the first time since being charged, stepping into a Victorian Supreme Court for a pretrial hearing, according to news.com.au. Now, she has pled not guilty to the charges and is expected to go on trial April 28th. So, I am not sure how Australia covers their trials. I do believe they are not televised. It's very much like UK trials. So we will probably learn the outcome once this has been through the entire court and justice system there. I doubt that we'll be getting, regular updates, but I'm guessing once there's a conclusion, then, we'll be able to, because I know there are certain publishing rules that are much different for the media over in the UK and Commonwealth countries, such as, prejudice of court, different names not being allowed to use. So it will be interesting to see what, the Australian courts make of this. And in our you guys, we have found him. We have found him. Strike up the trumpets. Let the choirs of angels play, because we have found the ultimate Florida man. Yes, sir, the ultimate Florida man. Cops bust a drunk man wearing a pink thong, fake breast, and a pink wig. As you do. It was laundry day, y'all. It was glam day. Sir, this is an Applebee's. A drunk man wearing a pink wig, fake breasts, and a pink thong was arrested Friday evening for causing a disturbance outside of the chained restaurant, or not chained, chain restaurant, where concerned diners, were trying to just eat their riblets, trying to do their 2 for 19 meal. Uh, when, the man with the fake breast, a thong and pink hair was just not the ambiance that they were thinking about. Now, police officers say that Daniel Cirillo, 49, was so intoxicated that he was unable to provide for his own safety or well being as he stumbled around the Applebee's parking lot in Clearwater, Florida. The extremely disoriented Cirillo tried to enter a vehicle that did not belong to him. Well, I mean, when you have boobs, you just think the world is owed to you. He got that boob power. He was like double D privilege, and yes. He was like, I have a rack of justice. I'm going everywhere. It's like Visa. When questioned by deputies, he was also unable to answer basic questions such as where you are, where you come from, and what state are you in. It's like when you need to phone a friend on if you want to be a millionaire. Well, JKD Buck, this man was using his fake breast to try to get some female privilege. Now, the report does not further details about, Cirillo's clothing. Cirillo, as seen above, was arrested for disorderly intoxication and booked into the county jail where he was relieved of the G-string fake breast and pink wig. Now, following a night in jail, he was freed from custody Saturday after pleading to the misdemeanor charge. He was ordered to pay a total of $570 in fine and court costs. Now, there you go. His address is listed as an apartment complex near the Applebee's. So there you go. I am not a woman. Honest to goodness, can't do it. I know. So there you go. I do believe that we might have found final form Florida man. I don't know where this, leads us into, as far as like where we are on countdown to the apocalypse, but I'll have to go look at Revelation again to see where Florida man with pink wig, fake boobs and a G-string is, because Jesus might have just figured that was a normal Tuesday in Florida, and there might need to be more additional things before we realize we're in the end times. Very true, Jeffrey Montgomery. Well, there you guys go. Uh, I hope you guys have enjoyed spending this morning with me looking at some of the absurdity. I know that Lord Chippies were not as terrible, but I needed a little bit of a break because all of the stories this morning were just horrible. So I found the absurd ones because I just needed a moment where Lord Chippy was just dealing with dumb people and not just people I'd rather be shot in the sun. That being said, I am going to be sending you guys over to Baker. I think he is going to be covering the closing statements from last trial. I will be jumping on with him this morning at 10, and I will be dual streaming, but I will be sending yes, I will be sending you over to him. We will start at 9:30, so I need to get that set up. But thank you guys, and thank you guys so much for giving me a chance to, start on the Karen Reed trial. I am learning all the new things. I had no idea the amount of new people I was gonna be learning about, like that, I was so taken aback. She was just almost so beautiful that I've never seen anyone that attractive in, like, real life. I cannot remember her name, but she's over on Karen Reed's side. Um, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen anyone that looks like that in real life." It was kind of startling. So, I mean, "Can you teach me how to do makeup, ma'am?" Asking for a friend who needs a lot of help being a girl. That being said, I did do a little breakdown of the final hearing from yesterday. I will try to keep those about 10 minutes, 15 if we have a really banner day. But hopefully that gave you a quick breakdown if you didn't want to watch the 3 hours of what was going on. And thank you guys. I will see you guys over here, I'm gonna set up my own stream, but I will be hanging out with Broken Baker. We will be watching Lolly's closing statement. Please have, an adult beverage if you've got them, because we will be dealing with Lolly. So I will be counting what if evers, and if I get over 500, I get to have an adult beverage because the boys have early dismissal today. So I will see you guys in just a little bit. Thank you.